Hi, Known family. My name is Becky Kopitzke. I was one of the speakers for the Known Conference in 2020, and I'm super excited to be returning in 2021 to meet more of you and to share with you about what God is doing in my life, about what He's doing in your lives, and how we can really tune in to Jesus in our everyday joys and challenges. And, that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. God has really been teaching me in recent days and recent weeks this whole idea of life balance and how am I using my time. I don't truly believe that there is such a thing as balance all the time. We make choices. It's this or that, and then we take responsibility for those choices, but always with our priorities in mind, right? So I've been settling lately on one of my favorite verses from Psalms, which says, "Teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom." That's in Psalm 90. Teach us to number our days, Lord, so that we can gain a heart of wisdom. And to me, that says that, first of all, how we spend our time, that needs to be taught. And it's okay to seek God for some help with that, to seek Him for His wisdom. He tells us in the book of James that it's okay to come to Him and ask for wisdom, and He's going to give it to us in abundance without finding fault in us for asking. And so I love knowing that I can go to our Heavenly Father and say, "God, here's what's on my plate. Would you help me to number my days? Help me to prioritize what matters most to you, and how should I be spending my time?" And if you're in a busy season, or if you have a lot of opportunities before you, or if you feel like you've not been very busy, especially in this past year since the pandemic locked down a lot of our calendars, and it's time to start opening up, I just want to encourage you to go to the Lord and ask Him, "What do you want me to put on my plate? What is important to you and to your kingdom? And what is important according to the callings that you've given me in my life?" And that's exactly what I've been doing recently. I'll tell you why. I get a little nostalgic this time of year. So this is birthday season in my family, is what we call it. So my daughter Clara turned 14 years old in February, late February. And here she is. And we were out enjoying a beautiful bike ride from some of the unseasonable warm weather we've had somewhat recently here in Wisconsin. And we were very proud of ourselves. We figured out how to fill up our own bikes with air. We didn't rely on Dad for that because women are strong and smart, right? So Clara just turned 14, and she is in her 8th grade year of school, looking into high school. And I am starting to count down on one hand the number of school years I have left with her in my house. And I'm telling you what, I feel like I blinked. She was 3 and now she's 14. I look at this beautiful face of who she's becoming more of the person that God has designed her to be. And I still see that 3-year-old in her face. I still see that same personality that was just starting to take shape at age 3. And now I see how God has grown her and blossomed her into this 14-year-old version of who He is still growing her to be. And who will she be when she's 17 and 21 and 35 and beyond? And I recognize that I get the privilege of walking alongside her as God does His work in her life. And my daughter Noelle just last week celebrated her 11th birthday. So my baby is 11, my beautiful girl, growing tall and energetic and athletic and inquisitive. And I love to see how God started them out as these tiny little people and continues to grow them. And He continues to grow me. Much of my ministry for many years as a writer and a speaker has been focused on the idea of our family lives and how we incorporate biblical principles into our everyday life, how we rely on Jesus and His word in our everyday interactions with our family and our friends and our colleagues and the people around us. And I'm recognizing now, as I've been on this journey of parenthood for 14 years and counting, how things change and how God has grown me through growing my children. And I don't want to lose a moment of it. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say that, I don't mean that I enjoy every single second of it. If you are one of those moms right now who is just in the trenches, or maybe you've got little kids, or you've got children with particularly challenging needs right now, completely understand that there will be days when you just feel like you cannot handle this anymore. I've been there, and it's okay to be there, because that is when we come to the end of ourselves. That's where we finally recognize how big God is, and recognize that He's been surrounding us all along. So at the end of us is always more of Jesus. And it's okay to feel like you just can't do it anymore. I'm not saying you are supposed to love every second of this huge calling that God has given you. But I am saying that when we're seeking Him, He will help us to appreciate it for what it is, and to appreciate the fact that sometimes a break is the best thing that we can do for our own spiritual health, and to trust that God is going to cover our kids even when we feel like we've reached the end of our own abilities. And so I see now these last 14 years of so many ups and downs in my life as a parent, and learning to be a wife as a co-parent with this man that God gave me 20 years ago, and how we all have grown through this. And I want God to teach me to continue to number my days so that I can gain a heart of wisdom. I want to be wiser. I have a tendency to be really tied into the work and the deadlines that God has given me. So does God give me deadlines? I don't know, but I'm a freelance writer and a writing coach, and I have my hands in all sorts of things in my online business, and my clients certainly do give me deadlines, and God has given me those clients. So I see my work and how tied I am to it. And then I see my family, and I want those two things never to be at odds. So again, Lord, teach me to number my days aright so that I can gain a heart of wisdom. How should my family be balanced with this work that God has given me? And how can they be working in synergy with one another? So I'll tell you what, these last several days, I've been through some huge, huge projects that caused me to spend extra hours at my desk. And I see how God has grown the hearts of my children to care for me in those times. My 14-year-old daughter sat right here by my desk with me when I had to have a late night deadline, and she wanted to make sure I was okay. So she sat next to me and she did her homework, and we chatted, and I did my work. And I just was so grateful to God that He is allowing my family and my work to exist, not just side by side, but to exist one feeding off of the other. And I'm so grateful for that. And I never want to lose sight of the blessings God has given me, especially in my family, in terms of my work. So I am asking God, help me to recognize, when do I need to put it away, so that I can have a conversation, to look in my daughter's eyes, to not think that she is a distraction or an interruption to the work that God has given me to do, because my family is the primary work that God has given me to do. One should be serving the other. And so I've been really asking God lately, as my girls are growing and I see that our years together in this house are limited, how can I make sure that they are my priority, not just in words, but in deeds? How can I actually spend my time in a way that gets the work done God has called me to do, but also honors this very precious, precious, precious relationship with my children? So work and family balance has been something that God has been teaching me quite a bit about lately. And then I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement that lately I have had an added joy in our household, and in the form of a new puppy. We have a new puppy. His name is Bodhi. He is a mini golden doodle. We already have a small dog named Prophet. My girls like to call him the lost prophet of the Old Testament. Prophet is a little morky, and he's delightful. And we've learned how to manage a dog, right? And so girls really wanted another one, and I thought, super, let's find a friend for Prophet. Let's become a 2-dog family. It's kind of like introducing the second baby into your household, right? So you get a new dog, and you're all excited about having the new dog, and there is great joy there, but there is also some stress. And I just want to use that as an analogy for any area of your life right now that you know is a deep blessing in your life, whether it's your family or it's your job or it's any particular relationship or opportunity that you know is a blessing. But there are aspects of it that are stressful. There are aspects of it that bring you challenges, like getting up in the middle of the night to let a puppy out, right? Or having to separate two fighting dogs because one doesn't understand that the puppy thinks he's playing, or any of those sorts of stresses and this is such a small example, right? I'm just using this again as an analogy. My little joy of having this new dog in the house, and then the challenges that are also inherently tied to that. That is how God works, joy and sorrow side by side. One should not detract from the other. We can still count our joys and recognize that within them, God may be giving us challenges. And that's okay, because those challenges draw us closer to Him in coming to Him in prayer and asking Him for help, but they also build our character to be more like Christ. So I was telling you about this work that I have to do. and a lot of hours spent at my desk. But one of the joys of having my new puppy is that he likes to hang out with me under my desk. So I have a new little puppy friend, a little puppy visitor, who comes and lays right below my desk, and he sleeps under there for half the day while I do my work. And I feel like I have a little watchdog taking care of me during the day. So again, numbering our days, finding the joys, counting our joys, and understanding that even when there are some stresses attached to those, God has a purpose for all of them. So I just encourage you today that you would be counting your blessings and you would be weighing them much more heavily than you're weighing any of your grievances. And I'm going to try to do the same. So let's number our days so that we can gain a heart of wisdom. God's blessings to you all. Have a great day.